In this video, I am not making a prediction. The session is not finished. What I am doing here is explaining what the market is doing right now, from an intraday structural perspective. This is a structure explanation, not an outcome call. 1 hour time frame. Let's begin with the 1 hour chart. On the 1 hour time frame, price experienced a sharp downside expansion. This move did not develop slowly. It accelerated quickly and pushed price below the prior intraday range. As price expanded, it moved outside the short-term Bollinger Band. That tells us volatility expanded aggressively. However, the long-term Bollinger Band has not fully opened to the downside yet. Volatility expanded first, but structure has not confirmed acceptance. The 20 moving average is now positioned above price and is acting as dynamic resistance. The 120 moving average remains below, which places price between short-term pressure and longer-term structural support. This is not trend continuation behavior. This is post-expansion positioning. Session structure context. Now let's add session context to the 1 hour structure. On the prior US session, the reference candle formed between the upper resistance of the US session from 2 days ago and the lower support of the US session from 3 days ago. This tells us that price was already compressed between older US session structures. After that, price briefly moved below the lower boundary of the US session from 2 days ago. That move did not expand immediately. Instead, price stabilized above the 120 moving average and held support there. This was not acceptance. It was temporary stabilization. As the market transitioned into today's Asia session, the Asia session reference candle formed below the low of the prior Asia session. That alone signaled short-term structural weakness. From there, price expanded aggressively downward. It broke cleanly below the lower boundary of the US session from 3 days ago and continued toward the upper region of the US session box from 4 days ago. The move did not stop there. Price continued lower and pressed toward the lower boundary of that older US session box. This sequence matters. It shows that price is no longer reacting to the most recent session structure, but is instead being pulled back into older, unresolved US session ranges. This is not trend continuation. This is a structural unwind across sessions. 15-minute time frame. On the 15-minute chart, the expansion is even more visible. Price moved down rapidly, then began to slow and rotate sideways near the lows. Short-term Bollinger Bands expanded sharply, then started to contract again. That tells us the impulse phase is complete. What follows an impulse is not direction, but evaluation. RSI remains suppressed, but it is no longer making new lows. That is stabilization, not reversal. What is being tested? Intraday, the market is testing whether price can stabilize after expansion. Reaction to the 20 moving average. Volatility behavior as bands compress again. What is not confirmed? There is no confirmed intraday trend. There is no acceptance back into the prior range. There is no continuation structure yet. This is not a breakout. This is not a reversal. This is an expansion followed by hesitation. I am observing how price behaves from here, not where it goes next. Structure decides first. Price follows later.